All right. Pardon me, brethren. I had to get me spleef right, man. Welcome to another webisode. Truth exists with Marlon Brand and Jeff Klein. I don't think Jeff is at the table yet, but I'm gonna get the show kicked off for you people right away. This is another
I'm
beautiful
here.
day.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm here.
What's going on, man? Everything cool, man. I'm just hopped on here, putting it together. I'm getting my butt kicked in the fantasy at the last second. I'm so mad right now. Oh, I'm playing against my against Frank right now, and it's just
Uh-oh.
we're at the wire right now, man. So I've been just chomping at that all throughout the day. But how's your day
And
and stuff been, man?
you can't let him win. He'll throw that in your face every
I
day
know, I
after
know,
this.
I know. That's what I said. It's like I'm like right at the wire with it right now. I got my field goal kicker against his wide receiver. I'm just really going back and forth. So it's interesting. I enjoy fantasy a lot, but man, for the most part, what's been up, Jeff? What's going on?
Nothing, man. Just been working a lot this week, man.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying just working hard labor, man. Using muscles I've never haven't used in a while.
yeah.
Coming home tired and dirty. It's just been a great experience, man.
It's
Really.
it's it's better than a headache of like being at a computer screen and paperwork and emailing and
Yeah. I don't have to deal with this person, get along with this person.
yeah.
This person didn't stock their floors and last night and you know,
Ah,
all the regular stuff. I mean, I listen, I don't want to talk bad about it. I loved what I did
man, listen.
um while I was there in those roles. But it's just a lot different. Working with just me and my boy and we're really our business. It's not just a business for just a power washing business. We are truly looking to touch people's lives as well, and everybody that we power wash for, we always ask if there's anything that we can pray for them about. And we've only since I've been doing this, since I've been down here,
Mm-hmm.
I've only had one person ask say that they didn't want prayer.
Oh wow.
Um, Everybody, man, we prayed for people that had family members in the hospital for COVID. We prayed for individual health. We've prayed just you know uh, a vast amount of the people with real issues and were hurting in some kind of way. And when we got done, man, I've seen people, people were crying, people
Yeah.
were moved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they just couldn't believe that just these two, this big black guy and this big white guy, just would would take the time to pray for them. And so it's been a real honor and blessing to work with my boy and just bless people in that way. Um,
Yeah.
but other than that, man, just enjoying the South. I've
Right.
been told um, a while ago on the uh, when we were on a couple. I don't know how long ago it was, but we talked about was it a plan to force um, Californians and New Yorkers, these big, huge liberal states, was it a plan to force them to go to conservative Republican states with lower taxes and doing those things and go there and basically change the voting patterns and take
Mm-hmm.
those liberal mentalities down
Yeah.
to the conservative states. And so I've been warned. Uh, I got to say, over a handful of times when I tell them I'm from New York, like, don't bring those New York ways down here. We don't do that.
Right.
Um, and I've really, it's funny because when they say that, Um, I agree with them, and I'm telling them like you don't have to worry. That's why I'm coming down here. Um, the last time I was going, I was at the gun shop because down here, once you're here for 30 days, you're a resident. You could go in and purchase a gun. And
Oh,
so,
yeah,
um, my father, when he passed away, he had a whole bunch of guns. I got all the long guns, the rifles, the shotguns, but I wasn't able to get the handguns because
yeah.
I did not have a license. So I've been trying to get a license for 3 years in New York and could not get a license.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
So I'm in 30 days, I'm gonna be able to get my father's guns.
What?
Um,
Yo, you was just telling me about your dad guns.
yeah,
About the person that had them, and you. I mean, you really never really had an interest in them, but it was kind of like he had all these guns there, but you had to go through so much red tape to get them. It wasn't even worth it. But now,
yeah.
now you about to get them in 30 days.
And now I'm about to get them in 30 days, and I got to pay $30 to just to get them shipped down here.
What?
$30 a gun. So $60 for them to ship it down here. And then I gotta show proof that I bought them from my father's friend for $1. So,
Oh, that's amazing, man. See, that's
but
just
the
different.
guy, it's just a whole different world. I mean, I
Yeah.
you don't even need a license down here
What was the
to.
drive?
So if I wanted to, I could go to the store, purchase a handgun, get a big, huge holster on my hip, and I can carry that as long as it's not concealed. I can carry that gun anywhere I want to, unless it's a they say do not accept gun. Like I can't just carry it into every place because there are some places you can't carry down here, but
What? So it's really open carry,
it's
so they
open
rather
carry.
you not like open showing you can't conceal it there.
You can't conceal it if you don't have a license. You have to apply for a concealed license.
Wow.
And so that's what I'll be doing. But I'll be able to anybody can purchase a handgun, keep it in their house or keep it in their
Yeah.
car. So you could drive around with a handgun, a loaded handgun in your car without a license.
See, that's crazy. See that just kills any kind of like intimidation or anything because you don't know who got what. Like everybody,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like if even if it is somebody, just think about people in Rochester, like born and raised here. If they just had a law like that here, man, to wear it on the outside would be the thing. Like I'll let you know I got it on me. Like you see it on me. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? But I mean, I think those kind of laws actually lessen the crime because you never know. It's almost like like I don't know the statistics and I never really looked too much into it of like undercover not undercover cops but plainclothes cops because I always thought that was very unique in how why you just don't have police dress up like regular people and then that way people committing crimes they will always be on the lookout that they don't know their head will be pretty much on the swivel but then it gets into like this civil rights stuff where it's like interfering with people's personal spaces and it's just the
yeah,
litigation is really ticky and tacky on that stuff when it comes to like people's personal rights against that kind of stuff. So that's probably why they never really leaned towards it. But I always felt that about like states that had open carry. It's like there's no intimidation to be like anybody trying to press you about anything because you got to be cool, dude. You don't know what I got on me from an old woman to a young man, or, anybody. So
yeah. They say don't if somebody cuts you off, you don't start cursing people out. You don't go cut them off because you don't know what they have in their gun in their car.
hmm
So you don't see road rage like up in New York.
Yeah.
Um,
I would.
nobody's really honking the horn at everybody down here. A couple times you might have somebody like sitting at the light and not realize that the lights turn green and somebody might honk real quick. But you know, they're, as long as they drive pretty crazy down here. I'll tell you that much. There's a lot of accidents. Nobody
Mm.
puts on their blinker and just cuts across lanes and crazy stuff.
How has
But
your wife adjusted to like life dining as far as interacting with people and stuff like that? Has she noticed a difference in how people interact with you guys, or?
um, well, we're all getting used to it.
Mm.
Everybody talks to everybody. Um, just the other day, me and her went out and we were running around all night. Um, and we said that we gotta go pick up food for everybody. So it was like Friday night. We went to go purchase some furniture off of Facebook Marketplace. So by the time I got home from work, jumped in the car. By the time we got back, it was like almost 8 o'clock. So we stopped by a fast food restaurant and we're ordering. And the lady behind on the other side of the microphone was just joking around. We basically had a whole conversation um,
Oh.
over the thing. And my wife, after we were done, my wife was like, she was flirting with you. I said, babe, that's how everybody is.
Yo, that's
How she flirting with me? She don't even know. She doesn't even know what I look like. She doesn't even know who you. And she ordered, and I ordered. Because I won't tell. I won't. If she's in the car, I make her order her food because I always mess it up.
yeah. Yo, that is yo. See, I've had interactions with people like Southern State women and stuff like that, and they really come off that way. It may seem,
Yeah,
to our women from up north, they'd be like, "Yo, what's going on here?" But the
yeah,
hospitality, the genuineness that comes across. I remember I met some young ladies, and I was in Miami on vacation with some friends. It was like five young ladies, and they was all from like Alabama or something. But man, I mean, Jeff, I was talking to these women. I was like, yo, and I was only there for a day, but I was like, yo, I see what everybody's saying when you go to the South. It's like, because they said it's like 5 to 1 men, like with like women to men down there. It's like it's so many more women than there are men that they're just and then the natural way of people laid back, nobody hustling and bustling. It's just the love. I said, what? I felt the love. I was just having a conversation like it's not like in New York State where you up here where you gotta spit some game to a woman, like you gotta kind of like put on for them a little bit. I said I
yeah,
had a conversation with this young lady. It was like so easy to be like, "Hey, you want to go have a drink or something?" Like it was like that door was just open to just say, "Yeah," and you felt like the woman was gonna be like, "Yeah, let's go have it." I was just about to ask you. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
As a
like,
matter of
yo,
fact, you want me to cook some food?
yeah, like yo, Jeff, all of that. Like you would be like, yo, what is that? But yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting. You ain't gotta be careful. uh,
Yeah, so, but it's nice, man. Our neighborhood, man, we're really happy about our neighborhood. There's just a whole bunch of kids running around. My kids get home from school, they rush to get their homework done, um, to go out and play. And they've got their little whole posse already, just riding bikes and scooters and running around.
wow, that's
And
cool.
so
That
one
is cool.
kid's got a four-wheeler, so my daughter's already been riding around on a four-wheeler. Like just good fun. Kids fun, and they coming back with scrapes and bruises and I mean, my daughter got ran over by the four-wheeler. She, and she came back with tracks all up her chest,
Mm.
scrapes underneath her eye, and like a black eye. And I
What?
was like,
Oh,
"What?"
that?
Yeah, I was like, "What happened?" She was like, "Dad, don't worry. I got ran over by a four-wheeler, and I didn't even cry." I said, that's my daughter.
Look,
Boy, go
ah,
have some fun.
yeah, man. See, that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, man. Like you could just tell the culturally,
Yeah.
there's something that's down there that's coming from the soil that you can feel like, man. I
But
should
the
have.
most, oh, I was just gonna say the most crazy thing that we've noticed that we did not expect was that our kids are behind down here in school.
What?
And yeah, man. And so they're having to really crack down and catch back up in math and some uh, my one daughter in math and my other youngest daughter in um, just like English and writing sentences. You know, she's in first grade. So, well, yeah, she's in first grade
Mm-hmm.
this year. So, um, but that COVID thing up when we didn't go to school
Hmm.
upstate and got shut down. When they went back to school, um, you got to remember they were in school down here the whole time,
Oh, they never
and so
stopped.
they never stopped. Yeah, so they weren't behind, but everything that we read down here was that schools, you know, that's why we were looking in certain places for to live because there was a lot of bad reviews about schools in the South. You know that they're not as good as the North. You
Yeah,
know, it's not, but we haven't found that to be true as of yet. You know, so
you
it's
know.
you know it's
Yeah,
good.
and like you said, it's just the whatever the curriculum is or whatever you got to get them caught up to. But I always tell people when it comes to schooling, it starts at home. It's only what the teacher sends you the homework. You as the parent look
Yeah.
over, okay, send it back. But I said sometimes I said if you don't know it, any of it, understand any of it, it could become difficult on both ends. So I mean, but I know your kids are in good hands, man. I know, but it's just taking some adjusting to get some adjusting to. I know, but that's what
So,
comes.
but it's been really good. What's another big? I barbecued for the first time. Put some ribs on the grill yesterday, so that was good. The pork down here is a lot less expensive than it was up there. Like ribs and everything. When I left New York, it was getting expensive for a rack
Yeah,
of ribs.
yeah. They was hiding that. I was like, "What are these little racks are? They sell them for like $25. You only get like a little rack." I said it wasn't nothing like this 2 3 years ago, but
You used to get three racks for like 20 something
no,
dollars.
I know, like a huge pack too. I man, listen, 20. I said, but now with everything ever since COVID and everything, all these everybody's hiking prices for everything now, man.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of shortages in supply and demand. But
Well, it's funny because I just there's one of the guys that I follow. Um, he does a lot of stuff for satellites and like he follows airplanes. Um, he's like an ex-military surveillance guy, and he just has basically sits in his house and surveillance the whole world or whatever he can use.
oh, okay, cool.
And um, there's a number I can't remember the number, but there are basically hundreds of boats off um, off the shore of America right now. That some of them have been sitting there for a month, waiting to be um, to be unloaded.
Uh,
And so a lot of people are saying that um, some of these shortages might be manufactured because there's so many boats off the coast. That
mm,
off the coast of California, they're just sitting there. New York, Miami, all up the eastern and the west coast.
yeah.
But even up by where you're at, the Great
Yeah.
Lakes, a lot of boats come in into those Great Lakes and start dumping stuff in Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, um, it, on both sides of Canada and America. And so they're just sitting out there, being told they can't dump their cargo yet.
Ah.
So they're trying to figure out why. They're, it's never been like this before. So why all of a sudden is it sitting there? And they're thinking that there's some kind of regulations that they might have in the ports that are slowing down the process of getting the food and the pro- produce and process whatever is
Mm,
being dropped off,
yeah.
um, manufactured on purpose.
Like I said, that like I always say, it's pretty much they'll find a way to make it a Trump issue to bring it back around and say, "Oh, yo,
Oh
it's
man.
Trump." They gonna find a way.
Yeah, well, just like the big news this week was um, that that border patrol guy whipping a Haitian. Did you
Oh man, I
did you
see
see
that.
that?
What is going on, Jeff? Man, why is the propaganda is real, man? I said,
Yo,
soon as I
anytime anytime they can throw some racial police violence in there, they're gonna do it, man.
yes, to divert away from the real issue and the real problems. I
Yeah.
said, a whip. I said, why is y'all trying to make the man the horse range look like he whipping the man on the? I said, man, this is just if people fall
And
for line and sinker.
yeah, nobody's asking them how did they get up? How did these Haitians get up there? They're
That's what I
saying that
said.
they,
That's how they're diverting you away from what's act. That's the question you need to be asking.
yeah, who
Like,
paid for them to get up there?
yeah.
Because they all showed up at one time, and you know, those individuals they've been in South America um, for a long time. They're not just straight from Haiti, so they're Haitians um, that got out of Haiti and moved into other countries. And
Okay.
then all of a sudden, they all just, like out of the blue, they just decide, let's all go up to America. Come on, man. Somebody gather them people up and say, yo, go to America. I'll pay, we'll get you buses, plane fare, whatever you got to do to get up there. Go ahead and do it. Meet up there and go across all together. You'll get in.
Yeah, because I seen that with that video they had out there with all of the people just crossing over, but it wasn't even seem. It didn't even seem like no anybody was stopping them. It was like the more like they was being welcome. They was just coming over freely. I mean,
They
by the
can't stop
drove.
it. Yeah. They
Yeah,
don't
man.
have the ability to. There's so many people coming across.
I was listening to a podcast show the other day, and he was guy was explaining how that right now it's like open season and for right now for some drug smugglers, anybody that's doing anything with the border and breaking things over because the way America, what this current administration is handling the border, it's they're pretty much it's nothing like it was when Trump was in office. People were scared, at the border when Trump was in office, but now it's like open borders,
Yeah.
small drugs, crime, everything. Everybody's coming over here.
Terrorists. There's people coming from Middle East coming over. They're
Yeah,
catching Middle Eastern people coming over to the border.
I believe it. I believe it.
It's
I believe it.
crazy.
And then see, but see this at the end of the day, it makes America more of that like that hodgepodge. Like, see, New York City was always uh triumphant in the fact that it held many cultures, different races, nationalities, however you want to put it, all in like one controlled area, and people from all over the world will come there just to see that, and you'll see some amazing things, some crazy stuff. it was so many different type of experiences that you can just get just from being in New York City. But now, America as a whole, our nation has taken on that the hodgepodge, but it's done it in a sloppy way. Like if you even if you look at our advertisements, if you look at everything's turned into like cool and being hip hoppy and popcorn, get it real quick, real fast, Amazon right at your door. Everything is nothing is genuinely being like created or even being thought about. Nobody's having real conversations anymore. Everybody's just going with what they see on TV. It's almost like the imitation, like an imitation of life is pretty much taking place right before us. You
Yeah.
get what I'm saying?
No, I definitely agree with you, man. I mean, even just look at the movies that are really coming out.
Mm-hmm.
There it used to be there was some original movies that would come out. Um, you write a movie, you get somebody to pay for it to put it out, but that even the industry, they're they're afraid to put their money up on anything original, so
Oh
they got
yeah,
to go with you know the money making machines like Marvel, DC. I mean, how many Batmans are we gonna see? I'm not against Batman,
I know.
but or I mean, the Marvel, um, Disney with Marvel. I mean, they're wrecking it with what they're doing. They're taking over the industry because now they got Netflix or Disney, not Netflix, but Disney streaming whole short series of things that you have to watch to tie into a movie that's coming out. So they're forcing people to that really would only stream and not go to the movies. Now they're gonna be able to go and go get that. They're gonna want to go get that movie because everything's tied into the comics.
Yeah, and see that's see what's happened, and to put everything like to see it all in a microcosm is the fact that lobbying has taken over politics, and what's happened is that all these big industries and business has gotten so deep into politics that everybody's doing favors for everybody, and it's gotten into it's industry. So from the music
Yeah,
industry, from the shipping and packaging industry, from childcare, from education, everything. When you have these special interests and everybody's now going in as business partners, and you have these venture capitalists, companies coming together. I said everything is just nobody cares about it being something original anymore. It's if it works and it's making money and we can get people to come and operate it and we can continue to fatten our pockets, let's do it. There's nothing that's really sitting there thinking about the people anymore to us extent to say, how can we actually get real value out of our people? Which is
yeah,
interesting with me and Frank with our trade school that the AW center that we've created and that we're going to be doing is that's one of our things with the tech and trade is to get people into not just grown-ups but starting off with teenagers and getting them into get back into skill trades and actually learning the skill, learning the trade, and actually putting yourself in position to start your own type of what they call union and stuff like that, and go out there and start getting your own jobs and start creating your own industries, because if people don't learn how to do it, then you're always going to be looking for a way in without rather just creating it and doing it and being the all the end all be all. You're always trying to look for a way to get in, and then that's when you get suckered by these industry people that say they just look at your talent and say, you know what? We'll take you and it'll put you in this position or give you this title, give you all this prestige, and then you lose your true value. And the true value should always be at the end of the day, me creating something, building something to leave something behind for somebody else, for somebody in my family or other people. Because one of the concepts that I like to use too, and I'll let you go after this, is I look at especially, and I'm speaking for the Black community, is that we create so many programs in our community to where we're always trying to help people that are downtrodden and broken. We want to help the kid that's coming from a broken home. We want to help, and I understand that those industries will always be there, but that will always be an industry that, for people, if you want to pander to that, you can pander to that. But I said we want to run a system like any other company, or just I use it for lack of better terms, the NFL. I want the best. Why am I sitting back, continue to settle for somebody that doesn't want it? Now I understand circumstances and things like that may cause a person to have a certain reaction to things, but there's a lot of people that are in broken situations but are looking for an opportunity, and if they had one, they would take it and take advantage of it. And I said,
Yeah.
we sat back and had to think. He said, you know what? Let's go out and seek the best. We're going to open the door for everybody to come in. If you want the opportunity, it'll be there. But in the background, we're sitting back thinking to ourselves, selecting and picking out the very best out of this pool to say, him, her, that one, this one. Come here. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about this? And I can put you in a position to advance you in that skill or that trade, whether it be tech or carpentry, whatever it is. Because we've partnered with some hair salons, with some barbering. We're going to be having some barbering. It's a lot of big stuff that's going to be taking place. But I said we want to seek the very best that's actually
Yeah.
going to take that opportunity. And how I like to look at it is, I use that as the trickle down theory. I said that'll be the trickle down. You go back and help your family. You get the
Yeah.
skills, you get the opportunities. You go back and help your family. I said, and I say that just for my community, or so, because I see these programs are failing over and over again because you're trying to save people who don't really want to be saved. And not saying that the kids don't, but if you're coming from a hurt position and your parents are hurt, and then you're sending me hurt kids, I said that's not going to be. I said, you know what? Let's get the kid that may be hurt, but they know, if they, like I said, if they have this opportunity, I'm gonna show up. Because there's a lot of kids that have the opportunity, but they get there, they show up, they cut up, they run away. It's so many different things, factors that come with them when they come. It's like, you don't want this opportunity. I tell people, I look at my life as a perfect example. Grew up, both parents smoked crack. I said I was in um I stood in soup lines when I was 7 to 8 years old. There was 3 Christmases where I had to go to Salvation Army and pick out toys with other kids. Because it was just me and my mom, and she didn't have anything for me. I've been to the mission in and out. I've lived in apartments where we had to run a cord from my house to the neighbor house next door just to keep our lights and a fan on. We used to cook on a 2 eye stove, on a hot stove, just to eat our food. So I said, yo, I got crazy stories, but it's not an
Yeah.
excuse. You know what I'm saying? Like, so some people,
No, I do. I do.
some people will say, well, I have this trauma. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way that God made me. I can't speak for that. But I know that I have so many excuses I could use to fail in life that I mean, I could just pass them out. I could just go through so many excuses. And that's not even including father not being there. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but I know I
Well,
rambled on
just
there.
that alone is
Yeah,
is over 50% of an outcome.
right.
I mean, you can, they said, so I forgot who broke it down. They said there's three things in life. If you do these three things, you will be in the top, um, what do they say? In the top 75%, or you increase your opportunities 75%. I think
Hmm.
that's what it was. It doesn't matter what the percentage is, but if
Hmm.
you do not have a kid before marriage and before you're 25,
Yeah.
if you graduate high school and if you had if you have had a father in the home. Those three things, you increase your chances of being successful by 75%.
Damn. Damn.
And I want to say it was 75%, but I do want to, something was popping into my head when you were talking about the different programs,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to kind of uh, maybe suggest, um, because the word crisis comes into my mind when you were talking about other programs. And could
Yep.
it be that most of the programs that you see in the inner city community, they're crisis programs. They're programs developed and strategically focused on crises that people are going through.
Yep.
Lack of food,
Yep.
lack of and so imagine the kind of like the mindset or the just the trauma
Yeah.
from being in all of these crisis programs. You're putting more trauma on people, you know what I'm saying? Like telling them and
Yeah.
saying, well, you don't have this, you don't have that, you need my help, you need this, you need that.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like you're scarring individuals who are already have wounds. And so when I hear what you're saying is, you know, um, we're not dealing with a crisis mentality.
Hmm.
We're looking at building, and not just building. We're looking at building so that that building could be handed off to another generation.
Yeah.
And I think that that right there is the key because one of the biggest things that this country has done, um, and I'm gonna say um, a lot of it has been done in the black community.
Hmm.
Um, but I will tell you that it's being done in every um, lower income to middle class.
Hmm.
The amount of money and property and wealth, I should say wealth, the amount of wealth that is being passed down from generation to generation is getting less. And so,
Yeah.
what my parents are going to leave me, my father passed away. None of that money came to me. My
Yeah.
father, my
I
father
remember you
made
told.
sure that, yeah,
Yeah.
nope, you're not my responsibility. It goes to your mother. Once
Yep.
she passes away, whatever's left, you and your sister can get. And I fully believe that.
Yep.
I'm not saying that that's wrong.
Right.
But if I passed away right now, I don't really have anything to give my kids, even if I wanted to. I
Yeah.
have a life insurance policy that could give but most of what I would give my wife and my kids would be debt. If you think
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
I got a car payment, I got a
Yeah.
house payment,
Yes. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
and so the more debt we're in, the more debt they push us into to survive in this world. Um, and really so that the central banking system can survive, it had to go to a debt in a debt frenzied um, society. And what's happening is um, my generation, Gen X, we went out and we blew up the debt. We lived on debt because we wanted the nice things. We worked for it, and we thought, well, as long as we're working for it, we can charge whatever we want because we can pay those monthly bills, right? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And as
Yep.
long as you can pay those monthly bills, you can get whatever you want to. The generation before us, my parents' generation, they were like, "Yo, if I don't have the cash, I'm not paying for it. I'm not taking out debt, except for a house and maybe a car, and that's
Yeah.
it."
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying, our generation, man. Ooh, credit
But
card,
what's happened?
credit cards is. Ooh.
Yeah. But what's happening now is that the Gen Z is coming out because those are the kids from Generation X. And
Mm-hmm.
so nationally, Gen Z, they're the ones that are saying, we want everything for free. We're not paying for this.
They're
We
yo,
see
you
what
know
our
what?
parents say.
Yo, I've read a statistic probably I don't know about a year ago that says that though they're living check to check worse than anybody ever. Like the newer age, the Gen Zs, those are the ones they are definitely living check to check. There's
But
no
they're
like
not taking any, there's no debt in their generation.
yeah, that's the thing. That there's no they're just spending money. They're not there's no investing in nothing like that. Like I was like, that's interesting. I thought it was I didn't think it would be like that. I would thought
Yeah.
people were
And the
getting a little
and
more.
that is messing. Yeah, well that what
Mm,
that's doing is it's hurting the central banking system because
mhm.
when they can't, the only thing that's holding up our American dollar right now is people accumulating debt. It's all
Yeah,
based on debt. And so you have a whole new generation that says, I'm not going to go into debt for nothing. If I don't have money, I guess I won't eat. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I'm
yeah,
gonna,
yeah, yeah.
if I don't have money, I'll live with my parents. You know what I'm saying? So, um, there's definitely the central banking system, um, and the debt, uh, like that debt mentality. That's why we're seeing the inflation. That's why we're seeing, there's other things that are going on, but that's one major reason is because there is no future for a debt society within the new generation. And so that's why they're trying to hurry up and force some kind of one world currency, and they wouldn't care about that. So the
Well,
dollar has to fall.
you said what now?
I said the dollar has to fall for all that to happen.
Oh yeah,
And
and I was just about to say, I was listening to my guy Clear Value Tax. I like him, this Asian guy. He does a good thing on like giving up updates on what's taking place as far as the money. And he had brought up a something that the I don't want to misquote, but his point was that either it was the Fed or Congress. I think it was the Fed. They're going to be trying to come up with a way of creating their own blockchain or their
yep.
own type of Bitcoin currency. To
And really it's really the central it's the central
yeah,
banking system.
yeah. I forgot exactly how he said, but he said they're going to be coming up with their own um Bitcoin, pretty much, or
Yep.
just get into that whole blockchain to where they're now they can service debt and stuff, issue debt that way. I mean, because that's what it's going to end up becoming.
Yeah.
Just another way for me to put people more and more in debt. Now we got you the online with the Bitcoin stuff. Now, I mean,
And
it's just
they're trying to pass the bill so that they'll be able to tax every $10,000 in digital currency, you would be
yes.
taxed a
See,
certain amount.
tax. They're gonna find a way to tax.
Yeah.
That's
Or
the
they can't live without that tax. The system doesn't work without taxes and people and other countries buying our bonds. So,
Mhm.
and then really, and what's going on right now? What see all this craziness, right? We've got
Yeah.
this last week. We had a lot, and I know we haven't got into a lot of it, but
Well.
if you big news about Durham investigation, right?
Mhm.
I think we talked about that last week.
Yeah, you touched on it. You touched on that.
Okay, so that is huge. That's like um, basically from the time it started till the time that Trump was trying to get impeached for it, everybody knew that it was a fake. It was faked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you could just imagine how many news broadcasters, how many editors, how many articles, how many people were all jumped on the bandwagon and said, I don't care if it's true or not, we need this guy out of here. Uh, you're talking about thousands,
Oh yeah, easily.
thousands, easily a thousand. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a huge thing, and links back to Clinton, it links back to Biden, Obama, links back to multiple different
Hmm.
CEOs and universities and different things. So that was huge, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, um, you've got you've got them trying to press charges on people for January 6th, when they stormed the Capitol building, right? So they were trying to ramp that up and make it seem
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
there was all these Trump terrorists. Um, Come to find out, Nancy Pelosi called off the forces uh, on purpose, basically. Trump offered her multiple times the National Guard, and she said, "No, we don't need them." An hour after everybody came into the Capitol, an hour after that all happened,
Yeah.
she was calling the head of um, the Capitol building and saying, "Hey, are we still going to get food delivered?" Now,
Wow.
if it was so life-threatening, would that really be the case? You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
Um,
that's the thing, Jeff. We've seen them letting the people in. We see them move
yeah,
the barricade out the way and let the people in. We see the police
all of that,
up.
all of that.
I know,
And
like,
but
yo, oh my god.
and so they weren't going to release the videos. They finally, some people sued again. American citizens sued and said, "We want to see all the videos from the Capitol." They had to release them. They released them. They showed the videos, and now everybody, all charges have been dropped and thrown out
Wow.
because they showed the videos that they didn't want to release. It showed the police taking selfies with them, talking, say, hey, there was a conversation that was recorded. Basically said, "Hey, come on in. As long as you guys don't mess with anything, come see. This is your place anyway." Basically, the cop told the policeman said, "This is your you're allowed in here. You know, this is your owned by you. Just don't hurt anything or hurt anybody."
Yeah, we saw the people posing, taking pictures, doing all. We
Yeah.
saw.
So then, so that was happening. At the same time, the border stuff is going on, right?
Yeah.
People, even Democrats, are saying, "Hey, you guys got to get this under control because this is even crazy." So you
Mhm.
got Democrats saying what's going on. At the same time, you've got governors quitting, switching over. I mean, basically, there are 15 seats about to be given up by the Democrats. Um, and
Ooh.
five of those seats are very, very tight races already.
Hmm.
And Trump is going to all five of those seats, where those seats are, and supporting five Trump delegates. Basically, anybody who was cool with him, he's supporting, and he's going out and physically going out and campaigning with these five people.
Oh
The
wow.
Demo- the Democrats are scared. He has like three of his personal friends are running for. He talked three people into it. One of those is Herschel Walker.
Oh, he's gonna be wonderful. Okay.
He's one. He's I think he's in Georgia.
Mhm.
He was just Trump was just in Georgia last week because the governor of Georgia didn't stand up for the voting thing, so he's representing a different person running for governor. Um, and basically, they're all running on three things: America first, close closed borders, America
Mhm.
first, closed borders, and strong military. Those
Mhm.
three things. That's all he's running on. And every one of his people that are running for these seats,
Yeah.
they're standing for those three things, and that's all they're talking about.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
those are the three major issues that are going on, that has been going on for a while. But those are the things that Trump, I think, Trump answered and got right during his presidency, and showed that you could be tough on the border and lock it down and have people do it legally instead of illegally,
Yeah.
and a strong military will help us not have the wars, and we don't need to get into wars if we run our military correctly. And and the other one is America first, trade, all that other stuff. So those things really matter, matter to America's pockets right now.
Yeah.
So that's going on right now, and then we got the audit coming. It was coming on Friday, so that came out. So the Arizona audit came out on Friday. Thursday night, the Democrats announced that they subpoenaed five or six people that were connected to Trump
Ooh.
for the January 6th, for them storming the Capitol
Yeah.
after they just proved that it wasn't, the police let them in, and they released the video. They still indicted six people. Steve Bannon got indicted. I believe a couple. I even want to say Tucker Carlson, but I could be wrong.
Wow.
Um, any um, media person who it was tied to the Trump movement got
Hmm.
subpoenaed. There was like five or six of them, and so
Wow.
that's going on all at the same time. Um, that the government, the Democrats, because it's a majority in the House and the Senate,
Yeah.
they have they have to figure out whether they're going to vote, because they have to vote on the budget. And so the budget, they're never going to be able, so they're either going to have to pass a budget that would and cut all of the nonsense out of what they've been doing, and
Mm.
actually write a real budget so
Yeah.
that they can um,
Yes.
not
Mm.
increase the debt limit. So Trump and the Republicans have put them in this corner for America to see: either you're going to up the debt limit and say we can't pass a budget, because we spend so much money that that's not going to happen. But what we can do is write into law that we're going to allow an increase of debt to come in, and we'll just print fake money um, for another year or so, or another 3 years or whatever, until the new budget comes out next year.
Yeah.
And so they're in this position where America really, if social media and news broadcaster would really relay this message to America, what are they going to do? How are they going to manage this? Are they, because if they don't pass a budget, that's when, remember how people, uh, all federal government, they can't pass a real budget. Um, all of a sudden, the federal government workers don't get paid Remember that happened?
Yeah. Well,
Remember
what was it? What was it called? What was it called? Something?
they go on furlough and
Yeah.
basically, um, until they can come up with a budget and vote on it and it goes through, nobody gets paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another word for it, but
I for,
everybody basically
yeah. I know. I
goes.
remember. Yeah, them doing that. Yeah.
My friend's a U.S. Marshal, and he didn't get paid for like I think
Yeah.
it went on for like 2 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people was getting messed up. My friend, his wife was she worked for the state and all that. Same thing where. Yep. It was getting real.
So there's a lot of stuff going on right now that I don't even think people even know, what's going on.
You know they don't. That's what I'm saying. Like most of the stuff I said, I get it through other sources and hear about it and see about it. I said most of it you bring it to me the information. I just connected with a lot of other bull crap I already seen or heard. But for the most part, people don't understand what's going on, especially to that extent because of what's going on in the mainstream media. Their minds and brains are being clouded.
Yeah, I mean they just with the election audit. I wanted to watch and see what like CNN, MSP. I mean, they basically said it was that nothing came out of it,
Mm.
and it wasn't a big deal. But I, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna read what their findings were real quick.
Yeah, go
So these
ahead.
are just bullet points,
Mm-hmm.
and you could chime in anytime you want to. So basically, the canvas showed that over 3,400 more ballots were cast than recorded. Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, let me just back up. So, in one county, so just imagine in Monroe County, right? You live in Monroe
Yeah.
County. In the county in Arizona, one county they found a little bit over 50,000 um,
Mm.
ballots that should not be counted. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's 50,000 in one county. Imagine what if a state is made up of how many counties?
Right. Multiple.
So if they look at another county, would they find another 50,000? Would they find, how big of a county? And that's one of their bigger counties. But so they basically found 3,400 ballots that were cast, more that were cast. So they found basically in the system they found 3,400, but they couldn't find actual paperwork to back that up. Okay, over 9,000 more mail-in ballots were received than recorded than the official number of mail-in ballots sent out by the county.
Okay.
So they had a number that the county sent out for
Mm-hmm.
mail-in ballot. 9,000 came back over that amount.
What?
Yep.
Yo, with the county seat, you just take it from the people. Oh my gosh.
The precinct showed more ballots cast on election day than people who showed up to vote. So 1,500 extra votes. Um, that the uh, the day of the election, there was basically 1,500 more extra votes that day in the county.
What?
Approximate. Did I say that so you could understand it?
Yeah. No. No. Yeah. You got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. When you said what, I was like, oh, did I mess up?
Oh no.
Um,
No. Oh yeah. I'm just like listening. Like.
approximately 2,500 ballots were shown to the early vote return, shown in the early vote returns that do not have a voter listed as casting them. So 2,500 votes, early votes, were not um, identified by the person that supposedly sent it in.
Oh my goodness. See, it's always gonna be
Oh,
just
it's
pieces.
crazy. Yeah,
They
over
stuff.
over 255,000 early votes shown in the county's final vote filed that did not have a corresponding entry in the early voting return file. So that's over two. That's crazy. 250,000,
Two.
255,000 early votes shown in the county's final vote file that did not have a corresponding entry in the early voting return file. Over 25,000, 23,000 voted by mail after moving after October 5th cutoff.
He
So
said
25, yeah, so 23,000 people
mm-hmm.
moved after the cutoff. So like if you moved after October 3rd, you weren't allowed to vote for that county. You had to vote for wherever you lived. So 23,000 people voted when they shouldn't have voted.
That is 23. Yo, and see, and that's why I said they just be playing with people with like my intelligence, man. I said, and that's why I said this is hard to even have these discussions with people because it's like you, it's only you that looks into this stuff that would even because there's actual news clippings out there that you can find. Like even Fox News is covering. I mean, mainstream stuff is covering it, but it's not like on their mainstream. It's like clips you can find and little stuff, but it's just I hate the fact that all of this is taking place and nobody's saying anything, and we can clearly see the incompetency of the administration. Look what's happening now. Look at Kamala Harris not doing anything with the
Exactly.
none of this stuff, and nobody's getting any flack. There's nothing happening. It's just going on about today. But I'm so happy in the background that all of this information that you're telling us right now is being revealed slowly but surely.
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing that happened this week was Biden and Kamala Harris both, um, three, they were, and I don't know the terminology really, but basically um, the article of impeachment got processed this week for both of them,
By who?
um, by somebody in Congress, by a Republican.
Ooh,
So the impeachment process is starting. I don't
wow.
know how if it has to be voted upon, if there's a special counsel that has to be started, but she basically, it was a woman and she brought him up on three different counts. So just
Ooh,
for the border, for Afghanistan, and for mismanagement.
wow. See, slowly but surely, I
You
knew
know,
it.
so that I forgot about that. That just happened this week as well.
It did. Okay. See.
Yeah. And so, but these are some of the things that are, I can go through more numbers, but the
Yeah.
numbers doesn't really show. It shows you um how crazy it was and what was wrong with the votes. But the count, they broke it down to they found out that the county employees obstructed the votes. So the people that worked for the county
Yeah.
were the ones that were obstructing this stuff. They
Yeah.
deleted files before they handed over the machines. So Mercia County, when they did the audit, the Democrats were fighting the audit, and the county that they were doing the audit in, all the people that were running the machines and doing that, they were all working for the Democrats. And so they fought and fought and fought and didn't want to turn over those machines because they knew if they turned over the machines, they would be able to look into it and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So the audit that came out on Friday doesn't even have all the information. They didn't even they just looked at the actual numbers and did a actual number. Now the next wave is, what are you going to do with all of this fraud that went into it? And who are you indicting and charging with this? Because this is serious. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
have they have cameras, footage of the employees going on the computers at the very times that those obstructions were going through. So they have the time at which they were being taken out of the computers, and they have the footage, the camera footage to go with it to show that those, and they know exactly who, what employees were going to those computers and doing it.
Wow. And they actually thought they was gonna get away with it. See,
Yeah.
yo,
And
that
so, and then it also shows that they approved signatures that were not signed in the signature box.
which
And what that, so they were signing that things were signed
uh-huh.
and approving them when there was no signature in the signature box. So they were just basically made up ballots,
Oh, they was just pushing them through.
pushing them through. Okay.
What? Yo.
They certified ballots, but the certified print under the, so like when a ballot goes through and you certify the ballot, it goes
Mhm.
into the system and it has like a print. It'll say certified, like it'll kind of like stamp it certified.
Yeah.
Well, what they did was they pre-certified ballots and ran them through, and then it certified them again, and they got caught.
Oh, see, but they still went in and counted as like tallied them up.
Exactly, and tallied them up.
So, but
So
in
it's
the back,
almost like, oh, go ahead.
no, because you were still saying. So the tally actually went through as a count, but when they went back through it to kind of like double check, they found out that it wasn't like a real.
If they a real ballot.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, I got you now.
So like the other information wasn't really filled out, but they
Yeah.
certified it and put it in as it was certified, and then it counted it as certified.
Wow.
And
That's
this is the crazy thing. Systems were connected to Wi-Fi and were connected to other systems. So they didn't announce what systems were connected to it, but they know for a fact that there was Wi-Fi in where the booths were and the machines were, and they know that there was systems connected to the Wi-Fi. And that is what everybody's saying is that's how they manipulated the numbers on a wide range because
mm-hmm.
that's, remember, me and you were watching it that night and you saw all those numbers just kind of,
Yeah.
all of a sudden Trump was up and then he was down, and
Yeah.
it was like it was just nothing was, it just, if you really watched it, nothing made sense. And I don't understand how e- anybody can question that, can say that this 2020 election was normal because there was nothing normal about it.
I know.
But because they hated Trump so much, they don't care.
And that's the
You
part.
understand? And
That,
that's what the wrong part is because the media has villainized Trump so much that it doesn't matter what laws are broken.
there
I
you go.
mean, look, doesn't
There you
matter what rights have been taken away from a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because really what's happened is our right to vote has been taken away. And
Yeah.
I believe it's been taken away for a long time. And that's what this is all about. This has been going on for years. For years, we always said they elect who they want to elect, right? We always said
Yep.
that.
Yep.
We always looked at the president as a puppet and whoever they wanted. And it didn't matter who, if they wanted Obama, they were going to get Obama. If they
Mm-hmm.
wanted Bush Jr., they were going to get Bush Jr.
Yep.
Clinton, all the, so when we, so those systems were connected to something. They didn't, they didn't say what. There's still a whole nother part. I believe that there's a whole nother part of the audit that is going to be more of the kind of like the investigation for crimes committed. And the audit people are kind of out of that. They're giving that information over to, it's supposed to be the DOJ, but the DOJ is so corrupt that, you know,
I know. This is the last review on
people,
the YouTube.
exactly.
No, just
Um,
keep it and just find a way to put
but
it.
yeah,
Because I
and
mean,
so what's really happening is now that that audit came out, Texas saying that they want to do full forensic audits in four of their major counties,
hmm
their largest counties, and Trump won this Texas, okay, but so they know that there was fraud. They were, and they're going to prove that even in the states that Trump won, that they cheated.
see, see, that's the part. See, we need that to get out to the media. See, that's the part that I said that somebody has to be brought up on charges for this, man. Like
Yeah,
this corruption. I said there's just way too much for it to just continue to be this way. But our system is already flawed with the term president stuff anyway. With the 4 year, 8 year stuff, it's already flawed just by running it under that system anyway. Because I mean, you you get somebody like Trump that comes in, has a good system, everything running. Then you get another president comes and just unravels everything again. And then it's just like, I'm gonna do it my way. Like it just becomes so like I rather that all of us just working in unison for one common cause. No, but it goes back to the lobbyists and all of that special interest groups. It always goes back to that because that's what's really happening. Has nothing to do with your civil liberties, civil rights, none of that, and being free and being able to make your own decisions. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's these big companies, big tech, whatever you want to call it. Anybody that's ahead of these industries, they're trying to create it to where they can get all the money flowing in one direction, and we're just the mere people just here taking the brunt of everything.
well, I definitely prescribe to what you're saying, but I just want to say I want to throw in that extra level.
Yeah.
I believe that the these huge corporations that are coming out as winners in this type of political environment, I believe it's planned, and those
Mm,
corporations know what they're doing because for a one world government to
hmm
come into play and for America to be controlled, it has to come down to, I mean, we're seeing how media they're able to prescribe some kind of idea in the media because there's only a certain amount of people that control the media. There's only two companies really in media in general, right?
Mm, yeah.
So it's like Comcast and whatever, and the other one, I forgot what the other one is, but they all own everything.
Like I think like Univision or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
Clear
and
Vision,
so what?
Clear Channel.
So if you look at just what Hitler and the communist countries did to change their culture the fastest, they eliminated the small businesses.
Hmm.
They created and allowed certain people that they knew that were prescribed to what they wanted, and they were able to control them. They allowed them to rise to the top and take out every other business through through let's say bills and different laws and regulations, right? I mean, look what happened as soon as Biden got into power, into his presidency, he eliminated the pipeline.
Mm, that
The
quick.
power was that Trump was saying is we need to be able to sustain ourselves. So we need this pipeline so we don't have to ask anybody for oil and we can control our own oil prices, right? Biden didn't want to do that. He wants to push the Green New Deal. He wants to say, nope, coal, fracking, gas, oil, evil. We need windmills. We need this. We need that. We need, sustainability. And and what companies were they going to build up to control that? They created laws for those companies to move up. And that's exactly what Obama did when he was president. He changed the laws and the regulations so that oil companies weren't making the money, and the government was funding these companies that they chose to fund to create solar panels and wind and all this other stuff, and they all went broke because the oil industry is we can't. There's no way we can live without it right now. So their plan did not work. But what we what they want is those single pipelines in every area of our lives so that they can control the narrative in every aspect of our lives, in the media, what products we buy. What if they wanted to poison us through our food? You there? Hello? My man, I put him to sleep again. I think he's sleeping. But we'll end it right there on a good note. Here, truth exists. We just want to bring the truth and allow people to marinate on it. All right. Have a good night. Peace.
some popcorn.
Goodness. Yeah, I didn't know like